What's going on, YouTube? So coming back today with my third base rankings for the 2016 MLB season. So yesterday I did my shortstop rankings. Day before that I did second base. And if you have not seen those videos yet, go check those out. I'll put the links, or put the link to the entire playlist in the description below. So go ahead and start with my three outside. My first player, I've got the third baseman for the San Francisco Giants. That is Matt Duffy. So Duffy, a little bit underrated third baseman, pretty good hitter, hit for good average last year, 295, 12 home runs, 77 RBIs, and 12 stolen bases, leading a Giants infield that, in my mind, can actually be pretty good this year. Like I said, they got a few mainstays on that infield that, can make that team pretty good long term. Brandon Crawford, Brandon Belt. There's a lot of pieces to work with. So, my second player on the three outside, I got the third baseman for the Kansas City Royals, Mike Moustakas, who hit for 284, 22 home runs, 82 RBIs, and 1 stolen base last year for the former World Series champions. And then, third player on the three outside, got the Los Angeles Dodgers, Justin Turner. Hit for 294 last year, 16 home runs, 60 RBIs, and 5 stolen bases. I believe third base is a position that's got a lot more depth than a lot of people would give it credit for. It's got a top 5 that I think is pretty much unrivaled in the infield, maybe besides first base, but first base is always a position with a lot of power. So moving to the top 10, number 10, I've got the third baseman for the Philadelphia Phillies, and that's Michael Franco. So Franco had a big year last year for really only playing half the season in the majors. Hit for 280, 14 home runs, 50 RBIs, and 1 stolen base. I think he can have a monster year this year with the Phillies, given that he has a little bit of help in that lineup, maybe getting a few more runs. So my second player, number 9, is the Tampa Bay Rays, Evan Longoria. I kind of seen a dip in numbers over the past few years, but still a solid defensive player nonetheless. Hit for 270 last year, 21 home runs, 73 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. I don't know what direction the Rays are going in. Kevin Cash's manager, I don't think it was the right move, but you take Joe Madden away, it's hard to recover from that. So if the Rays can have a better offensive year, I think it'll be a good year for Evan Longoria. This is a guy that can hit 300, has in the past, but I just think that they need a better offensive year as a team. So move on to number 8, I've got the Seattle Mariners, Kyle Seager. So a guy that will get you quite a bit of power, a guy who's also got pretty high expectations for 2016, one of the leaders of the Mariners ball club. So he hit for 266, 26 home runs, 74 RBIs, and 6 stolen bases in kind of a pitcher-friendly ballpark in Seattle. So move on to number 7, and I've got the Texas Rangers, Adrian Beltre. So he hit for 287, 18 home runs, 83 RBIs, and 1 stolen base last year for a resurgent Texas Rangers ball club, a team that can also be pretty good this year, one of the best in the AL West. So, number 6, I've got the St. Louis Cardinals, Matt Carpenter. So, Carpenter hit for 272, 28 home runs, 84 RBIs, and 4 stolen bases last year. And this is a Cardinals team that did lose a little bit of, lost a little bit of hitting in the offseason, most notably Jason Hayward. They will be relying on quite a bit of young talent in the infield. Colton Wong, see if he'll be able to step up this year. Also, see if they will be able to make the call to Stephen Piscotty this year and see if he can step up. He's one of the older prospects in baseball, or not really prospects at this point, but one of the older, I guess, I don't really know how to say it. He's not really a rookie anymore, but anyway, player that could step up this year. So move on to number 5, I've got the now Chicago White Sox former Cincinnati Red, Todd Frazier. So he hit for 255 last year, 35 home runs, 89 RBIs, and 13 stolen bases. Guy that's going to get you 35 home runs a year. I think he kind of downgraded by moving over to the White Sox. I don't know if a fresh start will help him, but playing in the hitter-friendly Great American Ballpark probably also helped him out a lot as well. So move on to number 4, and I think Todd Frazier is good, but I think there's a clear-cut gap between number 4 and number 5, and I've got the Chicago Cubs, Chris Bryant. So Chris Bryant got the call last year, was one of the best young players in baseball as he was a number 1 prospect coming into the season. Hit for 275, 26 home runs, 99 RBIs, and 13 stolen bases. I kind of saw a dip at the end of the season. He had big highs and pretty low lows last year, and I think if you can find a little bit more consistency, this is a guy that'll be able to hit for 30 home runs, 110, 120 RBIs. I mean, he's definitely got that kind of potential with the bat. So move on to number 3, and I've got the Colorado Rockies' Nolan Arenado. So I think there were very few surprises bigger than Nolan Arenado last year. One of my personal favorites because I ended up drafting him in fantasy baseball. I had faith in him. I've had faith in him for a while now. I just didn't. I mean, I won't lie. I didn't have that much faith in him to do that good. But I mean, when you're in Colorado, things can happen. And he hit for 287 last year, 42 home runs, 130 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases. This is a guy that I don't know if he'll be able to repeat the numbers, but coming anywhere close, obviously. Actually led third baseman in RBIs last year. Coming anywhere close to those numbers would be extremely impressive. So move on to number 2. I've got the Baltimore Orioles' Manny Machado. So Machado, to me, one of the most solid defensive third basemen in baseball. Last year he hit for 286, 35 home runs, 86 RBIs, and 20 stolen bases. Won't get you the same power numbers and just overall RBI numbers as a guy like Nolan Arenado, but I believe that Machado's also a lot more athletic and faster, better defensive player than Nolan Arenado. So my number 1 player is the former AL MVP. That is Josh Donaldson, guy that hit for 297 last year, 41 home runs, 123 RBIs, and 6 stolen bases. Again, a lot like Nolan Arenado. Not sure if he's going to be able to repeat the numbers, but this is a guy that's been able to put up these numbers for a couple of years in a row now, dating back to when he was on the Athletics. So that concludes my third baseman rankings for the ranking series. We'll be coming back tomorrow with my outfielder rankings. I'm going to do probably like a top 25 or top 30 with the outfielders, obviously combining 3 positions into 1. And then we'll be doing my pitchers, obviously separate those between starting. I'm not sure if I'm going to do relief and closing, might combine those both into 1 as well. But basically expect 2 or 3 more videos and then the overall top 50 video. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, in my catcher rankings, if you have not seen that yet, I'll put the link to the entire playlist in the description below. So just to kind of recap the format that I'm doing for this, I am doing my 3 outside and then top 10. So go ahead and start with my first player on the 3 outside.